April, like on April 24th, we went through Ramadan. So basically we're only able to get in 3 meals from like the 24th through May 25th. So we can only get about 3 meals in at night.
Hold on, let me stop you. If Ronnie Coleman had to do Ramadan, he would have gotten all the meals in. I don't care what you say.
I don't know.
He would have stayed up all night.
He just ate one big meal.
No, he would have stayed up all night.
Yeah. Well, we did stay up all night, but we were eating like, as much as we could, and we were getting the most we could kind of get was about 4 because of the time frame.
Ronnie would have got every single meal. He would have slept all day and just stayed up all night. Yeah.
So that's basically through July. And so at this point is when we're just now getting back in. So basically we took that whole time, detox the body, just, let the body kind of cleanse, heal any nagging aches and pains, and just kind of use it, and from there, we didn't really know what we were going to do. We were just kind of up in the air. We're kind of like, let's see what happens type of thing. Right. And so that's why we didn't really have any plans on, some of the earlier, ones. And then originally we had picked a show like November the 5th, because our thinking was like, hey, it's like a month and a half out. So surely that show is a qualifier, because it's so far away. And then we find out that they cut them off, in October. So which is a little stupid. Actually, it was kind of crazy since it wasn't so many. We just figured that the November show was going to be, a qualifier, because there hadn't been any real qualifiers, Exactly. And so then when we found that out, we're like, fuck, what do we do? And I kind of looked at everything, and I'm like, man, I can get you to 90% and we can qualify, because at the show we had chose was the Spain show or whatever. It was the top 3. So I'm like, listen, we can get you to 90%. I'm 100% confident we can qualify you there. And then of course he ends up with COVID. And so at this point we're like, fuck, now what do we do? And so that's, when I, called Jim and was like, this kid's like literally, and at this point he's kind of like, fuck, like, what do we do? I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I think it was the best thing that happened, because a lot of people felt, and I kind of voiced my opinion that I didn't think it was fair that they gave him an invite, because he didn't get the invite. I mean, he didn't qualify the year before. Obviously, everyone knows that he should have been Mr. Olympia. I actually think that was a motivating force, because he wanted to obviously prove to everyone that he was worthy of not only of the invite, but that he could win the Mr. Olympia.
That he could win everything, right? Yeah. I think a lot of it. I think the whole, like everything, just kind of building into it, just kept everybody motivated and driving.
Do you think he needed that? It's almost like Ramy was like a little too laid back about the whole thing, and he almost needed to get like a fire lit under his ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, right? For sure. I mean, because he wanted to prove everybody that he was worthy of it, because the one thing that just was a constant was, it'll be the same old Ronnie, same old Ramy, same old Ramy, same old Ramy. And so I think he wanted to just, put that to rest. And that's, when I told him, I was like, listen, man, we're going to dig deep this time. And I mean, there was a couple points where he was just like, he was wiped. Like he had never been that deep in the diet.
No. Sure. Well, and I think that was the problem. No one's ever pushed him like that.
Yeah.
You seem to have this authoritarian like aspect to you that guys are like almost afraid to say no to you. I don't know what it is. You come off as like, if you say something to someone, that they almost feel like they have to listen to you. I don't know. But I'm saying, I think Ramy felt like he did not want to let you down.
He did. I mean, I'm telling you, like there was points where he just, I could tell, like just felt like utter shit. And, and so there's other people, part of his team calling like, listen, like, he's not doing very good. And I'm like, no, he's fine. He just ain't never been here before.
Right. Which is why he never was in the
and he's like, well, I talked to this doctor, and the doctor thinks he should eat. And I go, yeah, don't feed him.
I'm sure they do, I'm sure they do. Can you give him a little more food, please? No, that's all right. I think I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
And I mean, through this whole thing, I was like, listen, I not only need you to do this, but I'm like, next week actually is going to get worse.
Right.
It's going to get way worse before it gets better.
It's funny that Ramy has like advocates. Like Ramy would never personally ask you himself for more food or to let up on him, but he had to have like lobbyists, contact you.
And so I think they feel so bad for him. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to seem, suffering.
Right.
And so like, we've got to help him. We've got to help him out.
I've said it before. If you want to be the best bodybuilder that you can be, and that's whether you're Ronnie Coleman or you're Joe Schmo, you have to be willing to go into that zone of death, suffering, I don't have to tell you. You lived with Kim for how many years? You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I used to see that she had the death face, which I used to call the death face when you get on stage. When you have the death face, you know you're in the best shape of your life.
And I told him, I said, listen, at some point, you're going to feel like death. Like you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to ask yourself what the fuck you're doing. Like you're going to be at a point where you just have never been before. Like you're not going to understand it. But I said, when you go through that, and then I said, it will get better, you know, the last couple of weeks before. But I said, you're going to go through that. I said, when you step up on stage and present the physique that we're going to present, you're going to be like so proud of how you did it. Like that's the part that's going to be amazing. And that's the part he had never you know, and then you could see this transition once he started, you know, we kind of started manipulating his carbs up and down again. Like he just lit up, like, you know, he just lit up, you know, and I remember calling him and I'm like, how you feel? I felt great. And I mean, I didn't even
because he knew he looked good. Right.
Yeah. He looked phenomenal. I'd added just enough food back in to kind of give him energy. And he's like, great, Mr. Chad. Great.
Mr. Chad. Yeah. He had his eyes. He looked like he was in a refugee camp because he had the sucked in face, which he never, he always used to have the puffy face. You knew he wasn't in shape just looking at him, you know?
Yeah.
And so, all right. So at 3 weeks out or whatever it was, you know, you and Dennis have been breaking my balls. Really, it's Chris Cecino's balls. Because when I saw that you guys had Ramy coming 3 weeks early, which by the way was a brilliant move on your part.
Yeah, I would have brought him there earlier, but we hit a point where, like I said, they were trying to like, listen, man, I don't think he's doing good and all this. And so I called Dennis and I'm like, dude, we got to get him here now. Like now. And I called Ramy and I go, listen, drop whatever you're doing and go to Phoenix now. Yeah. Like seriously. And he was there 2 days later.
Right.
You know?
But listen, I mean, you guys are breaking balls, but really you guys did panic. There was panic in there because you knew that this was a critical point. If you didn't get Ramy there,
there's no doubt. Like
he was gonna fall apart.
Like we needed, absolutely. Like here's the thing. So
you got to give Chris a little credit. You know, we called it right. It was the brilliant. It was a brilliant.
It was the wrong panic. Yeah, it was the wrong panic. By the way, like I 100%. Like I'm getting ready to drop Team Mayhem shirts that say "Train every day like panic." Like that's a guarantee. Kim's working on that shit right now.
But you know what? It was a brilliant move on your part because you identified. Here's the weakness in Ramy's armor that screws him up for the last 7 years. Yeah. We got to get him over to Dennis. That Dennis was basically Kato Kalin for him. I mean, he basically babysat him for 3 weeks, which God bless him because you know what?
Here's the thing.
You weren't putting him in your house, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know? Well, I would have put him in here. Like I told him, like you got to either come here or there. Dennis had a bigger house than me, so it was better.